Hi, I'm Gemma. I'm a maker. Let's talk about mosaic crochet. Let's go. Okay, so let's have a look at some examples of mosaic crochet. So if you can see here, this is a nice example of a geometric patterned crochet. But if we look at the back, we can see exactly how it's made up. It's actually made up of just rows of two different colors, changing every other row. So that's what you're doing. And then you can see on the front that you're creating the pattern by using double crochets that drop down to the rows below as you go. So that's what makes it a really great style of crochet to get started when you want to work with different colors. So you're essentially, there's no complicated changing colors mid-row. You're just using one color for each row, and then you're going to cut the yarn and change to the next color. So what do you need? You need a crochet hook. This is a 3mm crochet hook because my yarn is quite a lightweight yarn. But you can use any crochet hook as long as it suits the yarn you're using. You need a little scissors and you need 2 colors of yarn. Better to have contrasting colors. It's the easier to see the actual pattern when it's finished. And then of course you need a pattern. So this is the pattern we're going to be doing today. Really simple, squares within a square. And as you read the pattern, everything's numbered. You start in the bottom right-hand corner and you work your way across. You finish that row and you go back to the beginning and work your way across. You're not turning your crochet at the end of each row. You're just cutting your yarn and going back to the beginning. And to read the pattern, it's very straightforward. Each square is a stitch. Each blank square is a single crochet, and each square with an X is a double crochet. And then to start your rows and to end your rows is a stitch called a border stitch. It's the same stitch you do all the way along. I'll explain how to do that once we get started. And that's it. That's your mosaic crochet. So yeah, I think we should give it a go. Let's have a look at the pattern. So the first row is this bottom one here, and it's going to be in white. So let's start with that. So let's have a look at how much we need to chain to get started. So you can see, again, we can look at the numbers. So in the main pattern, we've got 1 to 25 stitches. And then at each end, we've got our border stitches. So that's another 27 stitches. And we're going to chain 1 more chain to turn. This is the only row we're going to be turning on because it's just, we're starting off with the chain. So 27. Let's do that. Now we are starting our first row official. So we're going to go into the second stitch from the top, from the hook, and single crochet all the way down. And last stitch, we are going to do our single crochet. And then we're just gonna do a chain, cut it, and pull it through to secure. Just give it a little pull to secure. And that is our first row. Okay, really easy start. And now we get to change color. Let's have a look at the pattern. Our second color is this row here, and you can see that first stitch is our border stitch. So let's have a look at that now. So our border stitch is going to go into the very first stitch of the row. This is where we ended the row. We're going back to the beginning and into that first stitch, and we're going to go through both loops. Now I say that because for the rest of the pattern, you're either going to be going into, you're mainly going to be going into the back loop only. So get our other color. We pull the yarn through, and then we just do a chain to secure. Okay, so give yourself a generous tail. It just helps if you want to turn them into tassels at the end, or weave them in. So to finish our border stitch, we're going to go back into the same stitch and do a single crochet. So yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and that's the border stitch. Okay, so let's have a look at the pattern again. We can see that the rest of the row is all blank squares. So that means they're all single crochet until we get to the end where we have another border stitch, which is slightly different because we'll be cutting the yarn at the end. So let's just do our single crochets for the rest of the row. So going into that back loop of each stitch. Okay, we're coming up to the end, so we're going to stop before our last stitch of the row. Okay, so a couple more single crochets, and then that's our second last. So the border stitch to finish the row, we're going to go into the 2 loops of the last stitch and pull our yarn through, essentially a single crochet. And then to finish it, we'll do a chain and we'll cut our yarn. Again, leave a generous tail, and then pull that through and just pull to tighten. And that's how we finish. That's how we start and finish every row with our border stitch. Okay, and we get to change color back to white. So let's have a look at that border stitch again. You can see the pattern is starting now. So the next row, we've got a border stitch, we're in white, border stitch, we've got a double crochet, single crochets all the way, a double crochet, and finishing in a border stitch. So we go through both loops of that first stitch. We grab our yarn and pull it through, and we do a chain to just secure it in place. Then we're going to do a single crochet into the same stitch, and that's our border stitch done. So now on to the double crochet. Hang on a second. Okay, so let's get it back into place. So the border stitch is going to go into the double crochet is going to go into the stitch below the next stitch. So let's have a look at where that is. That's our next stitch. Usually we'd be working into that back loop. So instead we're going to the stitch below, which is down here, and we're doing a double crochet. So yarn over, and we're going down to the row below, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. You know how to do a double crochet, that's all it is. And then single crochets for the rest of the row until the second last stitch. So sometimes when you go down to do a double crochet, it can be a bit confusing as to where your next stitch is. So basically the easiest way to find it is that's our double crochet stitch, that's our next stitch, the one above it is our next single crochet stitch. So in here, and single crochets. So you can see the pattern has now begun. We have started this line of white going up the side, which is here. Okay, now single crochet for a bit. Okay, we're coming up to the end. So let's remember our last stitch is the border stitch. Our second last stitch is the double crochet. So we want to just go as far as there with our single crochet. Okay, second last, now time for double crochet. So this is our next stitch. This is the stitch below. That's where we are going. So yarn over for a double, down below, and finish your double crochet stitch. Okay, so border stitch for end of row again. So remember, we're going through both loops of that last stitch. Do your single row crochet stitch, and we'll just do a chain to finish, and cut our yarn, leaving a generous tail, pull it through, and a little pull to secure. And that's our third row. We are flying it. Now we get to change back to our orange, mustard, brown, or other color. Okay, so here we've got our border stitch to start. We've got a single crochet, double, a whole lot of singles, and then double, single, border to finish. Okay, so border through both loops, pull your yarn through, chain to secure, and then back into the same stitch with a single crochet. So our next stitch is a single crochet, so into the back loop, and now we've got a double crochet. So this is our next stitch, this is the stitch below, that's where we're going. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And now we're starting this bit of our pattern. And single crochets for a bit. And here's where you probably should be counting your stitches, but I tend to use the pattern to guide me. So when I get to the end here, I'll know that this is where my border or my double crochet is going, because it's right before my previous double crochet and then our border stitch. So, I mean, you want to be counting your stitches at the very start to make sure you've got the right amount, but once you're going, you shouldn't have a problem with, and if you're following the pattern, you can use kind of the pattern to guide you where you are. So we're coming up to the end, one more single, then we're going to go a double crochet, that's our next stitch, we're going to go down to the one below it, single crochet, border stitch at the end of row, so through both stitches or both loops, pull through into a single crochet and then a chain to finish. Cut your yarn. Beautiful. And back to white. So it's going to get a little bit more interesting here, I think. This is our next row. Border stitch, double, single, double, 3 singles, 5 doubles, 3 singles, 5 doubles, 3 singles, double, single, double, border. So our pattern is really going to start to form, and this is why mosaic crochet, I feel, is interesting, because there's always something happening. Now, through both loops, okay, through both loops, a chain to secure, back through the same stitch, single crochet. So where were we? A double. So we're going down into that previous double to continue this line. So that's that stitch we're going for. A single into the back loop. And another double. So that's our next stitch. That's our stitch below it. Yarn over. Yarn over, yarn over. And then we've got 3 singles. 1, 2, 3. 5 doubles. So that's our next stitch. That's our stitch below. Oh, lads, I hope you can't hear my stomach, it's going crazy. I think it could be near lunchtime. Oh, not quite. Let's do a bit more. And our 5 doubles. So we continue with 3 single, 5 doubles, 3 singles. Let's go. Okay, full disclosure, I did not have enough stitches. didn't chain enough stitches, and then I didn't count them, and there we are. I've gone back and redone it. I didn't have to tell you any of this, but I think it's important that we all know, and that we all learn from this. Count your stitches at the start. It saves time in the long run. So yeah, I'm just doing this last row again. I'll be with you shortly. Double crochet, single crochet, double, and our final border stitch through both loops, single crochet and chain, cut yarn, pull through. Okay, then it's happening. Changing color. So we're up to here, and yeah, you can see I don't need to read it out for you every time, do I? Through both loops, pull through and chain, back in again, pull through. So how are we doing? We've got a single, double, single, single in the back loop, and double in the front loop of the stitch below. Single, double, single, and double. And that's basically our first little square in the pattern. Then we're going to do 5 singles, we're going to do our next little square, so a double, single, a double, and then 5 singles, and our last little square, which is a double, single, double. Okay, now let's finish off this row with a single, and then we're going down to the double on that previous double crochet. Oops. One more single, and end of row border through both loops, chain, and a gut, pull through, tighten. Okay, let's see what we've got. So we can see our pattern. Aren't we clever? So here's the plan. I'm going to do one more row to just finish off these little squares, and you'll see the start of the next set of squares. And then we're gonna skip further along, and I'm going to show you a different technique for the finishing of these ends. So you can see this one, for example, has all the ends, and this one has none of the ends. So I'm going to show you how to do that clean edge. Towards the end of the square. Okay. So border stitch, pull through both loops, single or chain to secure, back into the same stitch, single crochet, and we've got a double crochet, a single crochet, oh come on, a double crochet, I hope I'm not going too fast for you, or I'm not skipping some crucial information to make this make sense for you, but you can let me know. Pop it in the comments, and we can address it in the next video. So we've got 3 singles, one, two, three, and a double. So now we've sort of completed that little square, but we're also going to start the bottom of the next square. So we're going to do 3 singles. Then a double and 3 singles. So we've got a bit of a rep in this row. A double 3 singles, a double 3 singles, and our double, and our 3 singles. Just like that, we're at the end of the row. Single, double, and border stitch through both loops. You know what it is. I don't need to tell you. And chain, cut, pull. Now, how beautiful is that? Okay, I'm gonna leave you to it. You know what you're doing. Let's meet back up again towards the end. Let's talk about